Take two, go ahead.
Hi Lawrence, my name is Clark Booth, property inspector. So we've been here inspecting the property on Rustler Way that you're planning on buying. My assistant Paul has also been working with me, so the two of us have given a good thorough overview of the house, and right now I'm going to walk you through and start showing you some of the details. So if you want, we can get started here in the front yard.
Let's do it.
We'll go around the front yard, backyard, garage, and then we'll bring you inside and show you what we found in the interior. So, just missing one bulb in this. That's really minor. It still works. There's just two bulbs in the one. Then over here, around the front, there's a few areas in the foundation that look like you've got some minor amounts of exposed aggregate, where you can see the little bits of gravel from the concrete mix from the foundation. This was from the original construction, so it's been here for a quarter of a century, and this is all kind of up to you as to how big of a deal it is to you. What we always do is we look at the walls above any of these areas on the foundation. If they don't appear to be causing any structural failure, it's generally considered by most people in the industry that it's probably not causing an immediate failure. So these kinds of things, I can tell you from experience, are very common in home foundations. And then as we walk over here, you can see a little bit more of the same thing right here on the very front of the garage. You see a little bit of this. Then inside the garage, looked around at the stem wall, floor wall, ceilings. And there's one little small crack on the stem wall foundation right there at the bottom. It's a little bit hard to see the lighting. You might have to get down there close.
Yeah, I got it, man.
Good. To the right. To the right.
Oh, got you to the right there. Let me turn that guy. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so that's a small crack, and those kinds of cracks in stem wall foundations are extremely normal, common.
I have a lot in mine. Yep.
Yeah. So we already checked the garage door for opening, closing, safety reverse. You've got a chain type garage door opener. All looks good. Looks like it's in good condition. Also check the door to make sure that it's self-closing and it's fire rated door. So we make sure that it's the extra thick, solid core, and it should protect you from fire. And here's your attic access. This is the only attic access in the house. It's right here in the garage. And then you've got a nice feature here, I think is a nice feature. So you've got one outlet that is GFI protected. As far as we know, this one should control the exterior outlets. But the nice thing is, they give you another one here, which they did allow this back in the 2000s and the 1990s. So you've got the ability to plug in a refrigerator freezer unit here in the garage. That's a plus, because nowadays they require everything be GFI, which I think is a dumb rule. This way you can put a refrigerator freezer out here, and it's much more dependable and less likely that you're going to get food spoilage, because the GFI is a disadvantage. They trip off really easy.
Yeah, I have that problem.
Old-fashioned plugs are much more constant. And then this is your 40-gallon gas water heater. It is, as far as we can tell, working great. So we looked at the flame inside, we tested it, we checked to make sure it puts out a good amount of hot water, but it is a little older. These can quite often last like up to 20 years or more. So this one's not new. This one here says that it was installed in 2012. So presumably this is the second water heater of the home. And again, it looks like it's in good condition. We checked for the temperature pressure relief valve, which is over here for the emergency release, just in case you ever need it. And then walking around here, we did notice that this, you can see here clearly in the video, this has been dripping for a long time. Somebody had shut it off so tight that I needed pliers just to test it. Because it's not going to stop leaking no matter how tightly you shut it off. it looks like there's some kind of a fungal growth or whatever there on the ground. It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
The advantage that you do have here, and a nice plus, you've got this kind of copper pipe. This pipe, if you notice, there's a little curve to it. So this is the better kind of really thick copper pipe that comes to your main. And that's better because there's no joints, there's no welded or soldered attachments under the ground where you could get a slow leak. This is all steady, very thick walled copper pipe. So this more or less will last forever. And here in your electrical panel, we did take this apart. We checked for the grounding, bonding. It looks like it's what's called a UFER method, and that's good. This is the main shutoff. It's a 200 amp panel. Everything's properly labeled. The only tiny defect is that you're missing one screw. They're about 20 cents at the hardware store. So if it'll stay on just fine with one screw, but if you want it to be perfect, you put that extra screw on there. Then gas meter looks really good. We checked, make sure there's no rust. This wire here is the bonding wire that attaches to the electric panel as an extra path of protection on the electrical system if it's ever needed. And this gate was padlocked, so we'll have to go back through to get around to the back of it. I'll show you a couple things back there. Did you want to pause it?
Or
you can keep it going. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll keep it going.
We just gotta walk around.
Yeah, no worries.
Takes a minute.
I know I'm gonna get a phone call here shortly, so then I'll take a break. We're getting a phone line in our house going back to the 90s, so should be it's for our daughter because we don't want her having a cell phone and she's 10.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, figure we'll get her
I've got 14 grandkids and 5 kids, so I'm a hawk about keeping them off of social
oh my
media.
gosh, yeah, it's
Hey, if you put in that landline, you might even be able to watch some old episodes of Friends. We're going back to the 90s.
yeah, right. That's their favorite, actually. Yeah, it's a full-time chore keeping them off that stuff as well. But anyways,
I'm just walking around here, so I won't get to the back of the gate that's locked. And then just to give you a perspective, so you can see that this whole plane of the roof is fine. It just all drains into this area.
right.
So I made a note in the report to just monitor this area and make sure it looks pretty flat. So I just want to make sure you're not getting a lot of water up against the foundation after a rainstorm.
Sure.
So the way we do it here in Arizona is, the general standard is there shouldn't be any standing water 48 hours or more following a rainstorm. Of course, it hasn't rained for several days. But you can see that there's a tiny little crack here in the stucco. We report it, but we don't consider it a significant defect. And then these lines here, this one here, is where the water heater emergency valve comes out. So this will probably never leak, never show anything. But this one here to the left, that should be dripping during the summertime when the air conditioning is running. Then you have another secondary up here. This should not leak unless there's about to be trouble. So if you ever see this top one leaking, get up in the attic, get an HVAC guy up there, because probably your pan is about to overflow into your house. So that's a warning. Make sure that this one doesn't leak and this one does leak when the air conditioning is running. And then also here, there's a couple of areas, again, related to the foundation. There's a tiny hairline stucco crack there, which is completely normal. But there is areas below the grade where the dirt is right up next to the stucco in some areas. So that's another thing where it's great to have it all sloped coming away and have approximately 6 to 8 inches of space between the bottom of the stucco and the surrounding grade.
Okay.
So moving along, this area is generally in pretty good shape, except for those little minor things. And then, back here, there's a little stucco crack below this back window. Again, quite minor, but you can see it. And then There's a tiny little stucco defect on the column. And then this spigot is also leaking slowly, not as bad as the one in front, but it still has a drip leak.
Okay.
And you can see the stains of the water under there. We checked for these columns and patio structure. Looks like it's in reasonably good shape. There's not a whole lot wrong with it. Back here, the air conditioning unit. I haven't had a chance to look up the manufacture date yet, but it looks like a semi-new system. Paul, do you remember what the unit in the attic looked like?
It was fairly new. I haven't been able to look up the date yet.
Yeah, we haven't checked the date
Okay.
yet, but it's a relatively new unit.
Okay.
Working good. The temperature splits were like 22 degrees
Okay.
throughout the home.
So that's excellent.
Yeah, it's
If you have
looking really good.
above 20 degrees difference between the supply and return registers, that indicates the system is working efficiently. But everything looks like it's been very professionally installed, proper insulation, service disconnect, the conduit is all good. And right over here, just to the left as you're facing it, so this is on the right side of the house, you see there's a definite low spot right there by the foundation. And over here, you can see there's more of the exposed aggregate right here
Yeah.
side of the foundation. And then there's a low spot over here outside on this side of the house. And again, you've got all plane of the roof that's going to dump water here during a rainstorm. So it'd be a good idea to make sure, maybe dig a trough out there and make sure this drains out as quickly as possible.
Cool.
And then, again, there's tiny little cracks on the stucco, which are pretty insignificant. But that'll give you a good idea. And again, Lawrence, for your information, all this stuff is going to be with pictures and comments in the report. All right, so now if you'd like, we can go on inside.
Let's do it.
And Paul will take it away.
I hear we need new batteries.
So we'll start off in the kitchen. So you got the proper GFCI testing for the outlets in the kitchen area. So you want those in all the wet areas, so you don't happen to have like wet fingers and get electrocuted on the outlet. The kitchen island, there was a damaged outlet cover here. All that out, it's in the report.
I can use my flashlight to help you highlight that.
Cool.
Minor damage on it.
Ran the dishwasher through a cycle, it's working fine. The stove top, the burners work great. I ran both the broilers in the upper and the lower oven. They're all working properly. The only call out on the oven itself is there's no anti-tip protection. So that's a safety hazard. If a child were to stand on the door, it could potentially tip over. Tested out the microwave, it's operating properly. The ventilation works. The only thing was the stovetop lighting was dysfunctional today. Most likely just a burnt out light bulb. We took a look at the cabinetry. We saw the proper fasteners we like to see for the wall mounted cabinets.
So these are the high strength screws with the washer on them.
Yeah.
That's the correct type. So you don't have to worry about putting canned goods up there and then the falling off the wall.
Yeah, a lot of the times we just see drywall screws and those aren't appropriate. Behind the refrigerator as well, there's a damaged outlet cover. The outlet still operates properly, it's just damaged. The refrigerator, temperatures were good in both the refrigerator and the freezer. It just wasn't hooked up to a water line today. It looks like the water supply valve is behind the refrigerator. They just never hooked it up.
Cool.
So it's not producing any ice or water today. Under the kitchen sink, the garbage disposal is running smooth today. Down here, call out, this is what we call this is the dishwasher drain line. And right now it's hanging low. We want to see this mounted up so it has a high loop so there's no possible way of getting any cross-contamination back into the dishwasher unit with dirty water, or from the garbage disposal, the dirty water can go back in and contaminate your clean dishes.
Yep. Copy that.
That is good. Up on the ceiling, one of the light fixtures was not working, most likely just a burnt out light bulb.
Cool.
Dining room area, tons of, mostly every window in the home had damage to the vinyl trim in the same exact area, right near the bottom latch.
That's weird.
Every window pretty much that opens. So it's chipped. This isn't a function, this is purely cosmetic.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect the way the window operates. The windows still open and close smoothly. But we noted it in the report.
It's very weird. Somebody open the windows.
Everyone.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see that. You just got a little, they'll have pictures of this too, so you can see a little bit better, but right, thank you. Yeah, right there. So it's kind of odd. I wonder if they can get, man, I mean, can you get new, can't get new vinyl.
Trim installed?
I mean, that's odd. All right. That's what it is.
But you'll see that a lot in the report.
Okay.
Dining room area, living room area. Checked all the outlets, they're all working properly. Again, this window has a chipped vinyl trim. All these windows still open and close properly. It's just the cosmetic.
Yeah. Come.
The laundry area. So it does have the proper ventilation. We like to see that. So when you're doing like a hot wash, the steam isn't gonna, swell up the drywall and wood in here. Your laundry hookups are functioning. We have this line we use to make sure it's draining and the drain works properly. So that's working. 240 outlet for your dryer. This is functioning as well. And you got the dryer exhaust. This goes up to the attic, and when I was up in the attic area, it's not fully terminating to the exterior of the roof. The vent is still partially in the attic area, so there is lint building up in the attic area.
Yeah.
So you just need to get that extended
That
another
is-
foot outside of the roof.
Yeah, we need to fix that. All right.
Because lint is very flammable.
Yep.
And then you have a gas furnace in the attic area.
Yeah.
Bedroom again. Damage to the trim. These sliding closet doors are missing a guide. Usually there's a guide at the bottom so these doors can't swing.
Right.
Easy fix. Oh, also this outlet was testing as open ground. It was the only one in the house. So that means it's not grounded and you could have the potential of getting shocked. Since the system isn't grounded, who knows, maybe behind the wall they just didn't tie in the grounding wire to the outlet itself. Because it's odd, it's the only one throughout the whole interior of the home that was not grounded.
Come.
Closet area, there's a weird little thing in here. I wasn't able to. There's like a pull string
Oh.
through a junction box. I'm not sure what exactly the function of that is. I didn't notice anything in the attic area.
Okay, we'll ask about that. That's very interesting. I think I saw that on the initial. And then this little bug. You can't get access
The
to the
security panel.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. So we'll have to take this off right
Yeah.
here.
It looks easy enough to get out of there. It's not really
Yeah.
fastened in there. So the bathroom area, tested out all the shower heads and bathtub faucets. Just along this top of the shower wall isn't sealed, so the paint is peeling up. This should be resealed with the appropriate material to prevent any water intrusion behind the shower wall. Tested the toilet, it's flushing just fine. One thing was the ventilation fan for the bathroom is loose from the ceiling and it is dysfunctional today. I wasn't able to get it to operate. There also is some corrosion buildup on the plumbing valves underneath the sink. I got pictures in the report of that, but they're not leaking today, but should get cleaned up. Proper GFCI is working in the bathroom. Like to see that. We got the thermostat here. In the hallway area, you got a clean air filter for the return register above.
I've seen worse.
Definitely. This bedroom, again, trim on the window. There wasn't a privacy lock on a bedroom. That's just something we note as a courtesy to you. It doesn't have to be. The switch is kind of in the wall. It's not flush with the cover plate, just this middle switch.
Okay.
It still operates properly. It's just a cosmetic. Again, no guides on the closet doors. Other than that, this room is good.
Cool.
Pretty much the same issues in here. We got the chipped vinyl. No guides on the closet doors.
Alrighty.
Then this curtain rod.